watch what they're watching on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Just open their mind up to other options other than their own culture.
Right.
And then, change comes about that way.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, and I've been saying this for a long time, is I hope as the older generation starts dying off, that racism starts dying off too.
Yep.
Because I've met some really racist old white people.
Me too.
And I've met some really racist old black people.
I have too. Oh my God. Like people,
man.
like people like my grandma age. Like my grandma was 80. So my grandma was 80. My grandma turned 80 in April. So you gotta imagine. The things she's seen and heard, and the things and how she feel. Stuff like that just don't go away.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like whoa.
It runs deep, right?
Like she was born in 1936. So
oh my God. Yeah,
wow.
Right in it.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Man,
I've got a friend that his grandma owned some land out in East Texas, out by Paris, and they really had a wrong side of the tracks, right? And she was in her 90s when she died. Do you know what the other side of the tracks? You know what everybody in that town called it? Everybody in that town.
What's that?
Coontown.
Coontown.
Coontown. Right? Like, let that sink in.
I already know what that means. And
let that sink in.
I know what that means, but then I'm finna educate you and the rest of the world about that word. Coon.
Go for it.
Coon doesn't mean black. Did you know that?
I did not. I know it meant small, furry creature and a derogatory term for black people.
Yes, but when you call anybody can be a coon, because I can be a coon, you could be a coon, Hispanic, anybody can be a coon, because the definition of a coon is when you publicly or you just in general bring down your race. If you bring,
you know what's funny is I'm looking at that right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the definition.
Uh-huh.
And it says a coon is a black actor or actress who takes roles that stereotypically portray black people.
Yep.
So like Larry the Cable Guy is a coon.
Yes, he is. Because
you know what I mean? Because he's portraying us as a bunch of dumbass rednecks.
Dumbass rednecks, and he's a coon.
I get it.
There you see.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So I wonder how that came to me. Black person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is that just,
I understand that.
We felt like we didn't have enough names to call people.
I mean, I don't know.
So,
and
yeah.
And I can tell you this: the first have you heard the term moon cricket?
Yep.
A black person called me that.
I laugh because that just sounds so silly.
I didn't know what.
It always sounded silly.
I laughed so hard until I looked it. I googled. I looked it up, and I knew what it was. I said, "You son of a gun!" And a black person called me that. I didn't know what a moon cricket was. I never heard it. I'm 33 years old. I never heard it in my life.
Oh my God! Have you seen the definition for this?
I know what it. I had to look. Tim. I'm 33 years old, and I never heard moon cricket in my life until last month. Say it.
Damn, dude.
Say it. No, read it. I want to read it, please.
Derived from early slave times. I'm not laughing.
I know.
At slaves. Derived from early slave times when black people would come out at night
and sing
slave songs under the
moon
like crickets.
And like crickets. That's how they call moon cricket. I'm 33 years old, Tim. I repeat. And I never heard that until last month. And a black person called me that. He said, shut up, you moon cricket. And I burst out laughing. Ignorant because I didn't know what it means. I said, who calls
Holy shit.
And I was like, who calls somebody a moon cricket? And you know who called me that? Corn Dog called me that.
I love the corn dog.
Yeah.
I And you know what? That's why I'm thankful that I work where we work where we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because hey, you know what? Hold that. Put a bookmark in that. There's another definition for moon cricket.
Say it.
The slur is also used by some Native Americans against whites. Moon as in pale, and cricket as in whites have big eyes and gangly legs. Interesting. But I'm glad we work where we do, because we all have a pretty open sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, we're all not as racially sensitive there. You
No.
know, like somebody throws a noose in front of you, that's like going overboard, man.
Right. That's hate.
But you know, we can joke around with each other, and
Absolutely.
It's not a big deal.
Not at all. I laughed.
Yeah.
And then when I found out, I still thought it was funny. I was like, damn. I was like, whoa. I was like, boy, you just went all in, didn't you? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I doubt Corn Dog could have defined it. He just heard it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He said he heard it. He said you heard it on Boondock Saints or something like that. On something like that. Not Boondock Saints. The Boondocks.
The Boondocks.
Yeah, the Boondocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, wow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Moon cricket.
Yeah, and then
Now, since we're speaking candidly about it, like other than cracker, right? I know where that came from.
Uh-huh.
Cracker. What are some other terms for white people?
Oh, did I know? Or did I heard of?
Yeah, that other races.
Yeah. The first time.
You know, I think it's time that they come up with a derogatory word for us, so we'll know. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Feeling left out.
Right. And I understand that. That makes sense, but it's not. But the words, but the words that they have for y'all doesn't hurt y'all, because it doesn't mean as
Right.
much
Right.
than the N word.
Right.
But I have some if you want to hear them.
Go for it.
Okay, the first time I heard, and all the racist words that I have heard came from my father. All the racist terms. I never heard a racist term from my father. So that lets you know. And my father is 55. So yeah. So he's born in 1960. So yeah. So Peckerwood.
Yep, I've heard that.
Because we were driving, and then we were driving. This white guy cut us out. He said, "Effing Peckerwood," and I was like, and I'm like 10 years old. I'm like, what is that?
What is that?
What does that mean?
I wonder where.
And I didn't
You know
even.
where that came from?
Huh? And then it's.
You know where that came from?
No, I still don't know, because I don't use that word. I don't use it. It sounds stupid.
The definition just says a white person, especially a poor one. So let's.
Oh my God, are you serious? That is pathetic. Like, why is that?
Let's see what the Anti-Defamation League has to say about this.
Wow, get him.
The word peckerwood originated as an African-American slang term for woodpecker in the 1800s.
Okay.
But by early 1900s, began to be applied as a racial epithet against whites, with meaning similar to the term white trash.
So y'all flipped it.
Do what?
So it got flipped.
Yes.
Okay. But not to be so hurtful.
Now it refers to white prisoners, specifically.
So you.
White people in prison. And now I think there's a gang too. There's a prison gang called Peckerwood.
I'm sure.
So they've owned the word, right?
Yeah, they own the word. They took the power away from it.
Right. The only reason it would be offensive to me would be if I came from a group of people that were slaves for, however many hundreds of years and thousands of years. And,
right.
Like I was brought up to think that's what I was, and that's what society thought I was, and that's the one word somebody says that wants to hurt you, but it's just not there. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not there. And there's a certain degree of, like, I get why rappers say the N word. I get why, black people, when they're around their buddies, they call each other that, whatever. It has, in certain circles, it has become a term of endearment.
Yeah, true.
They have taken that power away from the word.
Mm-hmm.
But people just need to understand that is y'all's word now.
Mm-hmm.
That belongs to you now.
Right.
And that is you to do with it what you wish.
Right.
And that's just, that's the way it is now. People need to realize that. But
they don't.
Like I said, I've got, I come from a mixed family. I come from a family that my great grandma wouldn't go to one of my cousin's weddings because, he was marrying a black girl. Like that's how it was.
That's so sad.
It is. It really is. And you can't tell, like, it kind of bothers me when people say, oh, well, they grew up in a different time. It's like, right, but they're here now.
Right.
And
change is good.
Right. You can't do that to people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, they need to conform to us, not vice versa.
Right, absolutely. You can't.
I'm not gonna tell my great grandma she can't say things like that.
Right, because I'm a firm believer you can't move forward. You can't move forward if you're always looking backwards.
Right, exactly.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Exactly.
And you got to understand that you got to understand how I grew up. Like, half of my life, I stayed in the hood, and half of my life, and the other half of my life, I stayed in the suburbs. And so you gotta understand. So from pre-K all the way to the seventh grade, to the seventh grade, I stayed in the hood. So that's 14 years of my life. It's like 14, 13 years of my life. Significant part of my life.
Formative years.
Yes. When we moved, I moved to this city called Duncanville, and back then it was white. Like it was. White, it's still white. It's white people than that now, but it was suburbs. So suburbs mean a group, a majority of whites. You know what I mean? A little bit of blacks.
That's what we call a lot of the suburbs around Fort Worth. And I don't know if you ever heard the term white flight.
Yeah.
White flight movement is black people move in, Mexican people move in, and white people move out. Right? They keep pushing back. They keep, so like Duncanville is probably a suburb of Dallas, right?
Right.
So when black people, the influx of black people, Mexican people, and other minority groups started moving in, white people, for fear of their property values going into shitter and all that stuff, they pushed out and probably founded Duncanville, right?
Right.
So they moved there and they settled Duncanville, and then here come the minorities again, so we need to push out even further. That kind of thing. Because I've got towns around me like Everman, Crowley, Burleson. Those are all places where, oh no, here come the black people, we better move. And then, they push out to Crowley, and then, years down the road, they're like, oh, here come more black people, we better move. And they go and find the town of Burleson, stuff like that. That's called white flight.
Wow, and that's crazy too, because when we first moved over there, we was like it was like only like two other black families over there. So we like the third black family over there, and it was like 400 houses over there. So imagine.
Right. Yeah.
So me and my brother. So you got to imagine. Besides seeing a white person on TV, that was our first time ever seeing a white person in real life when we moved to Duncanville. And so when they came, we never seen a white person in real life, just on TV. And so we didn't know that. Oh, let's welcome y'all to the neighborhood. Because if y'all had enough money to make it here. You know what I mean? Or enough fortitude.
Yeah, you must.
You're good.
Not like those other black.
Yeah. You know that. So let's welcome to the neighborhood,
right.
Which is fine, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Look, darling, we have black people now.
Exactly, and I'm good with that.